And we're off. Welcome to the show. Here we are post-Thanksgiving. There is NHL hockey that matters being played. Let's get at it.
Merry Christmas, Steve.
Let's get doing it. Welcome to Barn Burner. It's Boomer along with Pinder and Warner as always, and joined here in studio. Last time you were here, you were an assistant GM, and we were talking. There was a lot of things that we were talking. A lot has changed, I guess, since then. There's been a coach and a GM and a captain. There's been a lot going on. We got a lot to get into. Craig Conroy, Flames GM, joins us here in the studio. Thanks for coming by, pal.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
I should have been in here earlier. I feel bad. I apologize.
That's as much our fault. You know,
I feel like you've been busy though. It's not like there's nothing going on.
It's been a little busy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? There's always stuff. There's more than you can imagine. I've never seen so many memos from the league. It's every day.
Oh, really?
For everything. It's amazing.
See, Rhett, you'd be in with the emails. You don't get emails on your phone.
Emails.
It'd be tough.
Miss a lot.
Yeah.
You'd miss everything.
Yeah, you'd miss a lot. So I walk us through, I guess, how would you characterize it? Was it challenging? Was it exciting? How would you kind of describe it?
The summer?
Yeah, as a GM.
You know, I mean, I think the thing is, you know, probably being a new GM, I was doing way more trying to reach out, call people. They would say, Craig, we're on vacation. Can I call you closer to September? Oh, okay. You know, I think just being definitely Danny Briere and I talk, different people talk, kind of the newer guys. The other guys, they're a little more seasoned, and they said, listen, you know what, right now in August here, we're not, you know, we'll get back in touch with you, but we're not doing anything right now. Unless something's pressing, then give us a call. I'm like, okay, I don't have anything pressing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a learning curve. I think you're excited. You want to get going. You want to do things and see, but everything's a little slower than I was in my mind, I thought.
Yeah, because I think a lot of fans thought this was going to be an active off seison. You got UFAs.
Just wait till the drafting. They're going to have 1,000 new picks. Everyone's going to be gone.
Yeah. We'll talk about the UFAs and that sort of thing. But it was one of those things. It was not like you had a stack of trade offers and things on your desk. The summer's kind of a slow time for hockey, as it seems.
It is, and the cap going up 1 million. I mean, it's tight. You know, even to get cap compliant yesterday. It's a juggling, you know, everybody talking to teams. We're all in the same situation. How we're going to do it, how you're going to get, you know, be ready for the cap, under the cap, ready to go.
So who's your cap guy over there?
Mike Burke's doing a great job.
Doing it,
yeah. You know, obviously with Chris was hitting, Mike did it together, and now Mike's doing it. So yeah, it's a team effort though. And I'm learning different rules, how, you know, there's all these different things that go into it that I didn't realize. I'm like, is that how it works? So like, oh yeah, if you put this guy down and bring him back, he's got bonuses. You can't, that money's there. So there's just so much more to it. And I think this is the first time when you're really grinding out the numbers and it's just been so tight. This is probably the tightest we've had in the 12 years I've been here.
Is it too much to know and do yourself? Basically, like there's so many loopholes, not even loopholes. I don't know what the term would be, but it seems like there's a million different ways or implications. It's to worry about talent and team and who you want and when you want them, and then to understand all the implications of the salary cap. You got to have a pretty good understanding, but it feels like it's more than a one-man job.
Oh, it is. I mean, you know what, you have an idea what you want to do. Can I do this? And then Mike Burke will go and no, you can't do that, Greg. He's like, this is where we need to go. I'm like, okay, so can we do, you know, and then we just work through it. Mike's done an amazing job. I mean, he really, this, and plus you want to get as close, you know, some teams are $1 away. You know, we want to get as close as we can to the cap.
If you're going to go until TR.
Yeah. Exactly. If you need to go and have some wiggle room, you know, and obviously with the injuries had with Pelche, Shillington not being here, and Rooney, it throws everything off. It really does. And you're trying to, you know, walk that tightrope to how, hey, you need to have room during the season. If you have an injury, if you need to have a goalie, you know, if we need another goalie, that we got to have room for that. I mean, so there's a lot of things behind the scene, but it's definitely not a one person. It's nice to have Don there and Dave Nonis and Brad Pascal, but obviously Berkey is day to day. He's grinding those numbers. So yeah, we're starting. I think we have $56,000. So it's tight. You know, it really is tight.
It sounds like a lot, but for hockey players, that's not a lot to you.
Yeah, no. So did you find, just in terms, and we can talk about UFAs and just what Toffoli gets traded, Backlund gets re-signed, but from a trade perspective and dealing with other GMs, the art of trying to craft a deal. Did you find other GMs? Because we talked about it. They're going to test you.
Sure.
They're going to test the new guy. Oh, Craig, a great guy, nice guy, new in the job, lots of pressure. Let's see if we can grind him. Not a lot of guys looking to help you out there, I'm guessing.
No, I mean, that's their job too. I mean, obviously some of the offers that came my way, I said, I'm not just doing a deal. We have good players, and I have in my mind what each of their values is right now.
Yeah.
Would that change later? Hypothetically? Yeah, maybe. But right now I have something in mind. And if, I never got that, I wasn't going to do anything, because the one thing, the guys all are under contract, and, hopefully now that they're back, you see a little bit of a shift, that they're excited. Bax is the first one to be the captain, to re-sign with us. That's kind of, I wanted to see where they're at the end of the year. I could tell they were not in a good place, obviously not making the playoffs, all the Daryl stuff. It was a negative atmosphere. So we wanted to change that, and then kind of see, with everybody coming back, where this team's really at. We obviously missed the playoffs. That's not good enough. So we got to, figure it out and start moving forward. And we'll start tomorrow against Winnipeg.
It felt like he was your guy all summer, and a lot of the players said it's a few years coming. Where are you at on it? And what can you take us behind the curtain on why there wasn't a captain for 2 years?
It felt like we mentioned it, and Daryl just did not want to have one, and in the end he made the decision, I'm not going to have a captain, which in a Canadian market, I understand he's saying there's a lot of pressure, a lot more focus, but also you need that guy someone to kind of go into Daryl's office and say, hey, we need a day off. And no one felt like they could do that, and maybe that was part of what Daryl was saying. Hey, I'm going to run this thing the way I want. I don't think there's a clear cut captain, which, talking to the guys, there was a clear cut captain. It was Backlund. So yeah, I don't know why for the 2 years, Daryl didn't feel comfortable with it, but now that we have one, I think it definitely kind of sets a hierarchy in the team, and the guys seem really, really positive. And they always believed, even at the end of the year, I was talking to Rasmus, he goes, Craig, we need a captain. And that was on the LA Anaheim trip. So right at the end of the year, like I said, next year we will have one, and that's, I still was just assistant GM. I went to Brad, said, we have to get a captain in here.
How close were you to making other deals? The Toffoli one happened early. We talked about the draft.
It's draft eve, wasn't it?
So much going into how popular and how valued those picks were probably kept you from doing some deals because teams wanted to keep what they had. But was there a point at this summer where you thought, we might be getting this done, and then maybe it doesn't happen for whatever reason?
No, not really. I mean, the weird thing at the draft, I thought, because draft picks kind of, they make trades all the time. You see all the different things, but the last year draft, nobody wanted to move a pick. No, don't want to move a pick. Would you do? No, not going to do that. Not going to do that. It was quick no's on most things when you call, just, hey, would you consider? No, when we came to a draft pick last year. So, even when we did the Toffoli deal, you're always, could I get a second? You're looking for a second. It was hard, but I was happy to get a third. We didn't have the third, got our third back, and then get Sharangovich. You feel like, okay, we got something. I felt like with Toff, he kind of wanted to resign early, but then it went sideways with us, and those things happen. So I thought to kind of be able to get a pick, to get a player back, was something that it worked out. It made sense. Obviously you always want to get higher picks as you're trying, but that was the best I could do. And I thought it was a good fit for us. So, but on other fronts, I mean, you'd talk to, and it just there wasn't a lot of movement. I mean, you sat there the first day. I was wondering if anyone else was going to trade some picks, but it just didn't happen.
I think it was the first time in ages that we didn't see a first rounder move on the draft floor. I think there was like 10 or 11, but most of those were ahead of the deadline.
Yeah. For Elias Lindholm, I think it's fair. It's been more about trying to re-sign than see what's out there as far as a trade. So much has been talked about. There's term. We could tell what the term's probably going to be. It's going to be a max term deal, quite likely, if it gets done. But is this something that you're talking with his agent on? Are you on a daily basis? Is it every few? I guess, where would you say you're at right now with a potential extension for him?
You know, it's tough because you're trying to figure out, and you're also trying to figure out where this cap is going. You know, I think Gary came out the other day and said 4.5. You know, you've talked to agents, it's 6 million. You know, what is the real number? Where is it going? And, you know, even like this year, we didn't have a lot of wiggle room. You know, guys' contracts bumped up. They got their money this year. So, you know, I think we had very little kind of room to make moves, to sign a free agent, to, you know, we were tight against the cap, and you'd like to have a little bit of a cushion because there are players and deals out there. If you have some cap room and you could take back money, it's really making the art of the deal right now is how does the money work?
Yeah.
As much as doing the deal. If you could there's probably deals out there to be had, but the money never works. It's amazing how hard it is to do it. And every team's right up against it. You know, and some of the teams that are kind of do have money, they're not looking, they're just going young, you know, they're going in a direction, and they're building through the draft and younger players. So, you know, it's not as easy as I thought on this side, but hopefully when the cap does go up, there'll be more opportunity.
Yeah. Because for a guy like Elias, that's your number one center. And if you sign him, you're set. And if it feels like if it doesn't happen, it just almost feels like it's going to change the direction of the entire
Do you have a
franchise,
number one center, right?
Then you're almost kind of thrust into I guess we're going young type of thing. It's a big one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, and that's the thing. It's never as quick as we'd like. You just saw, you know, Scheifele sign yesterday and Hellebuck. So, you know, you just don't want it. You're working through it, and it's slower than you want. You know, that's the thing. I know people would, when are you going to get things done?
Yeah.
It doesn't work quite that way, but we're working through it. Dave Nonis here has been excellent. He's been really good. He's doing a lot of the day-to-day negotiations because there's so many things going on behind the scenes. It's nice to have Dave here and part of it. And, you know, because there's conversations for, you know, those hour-long conversations that it's easier for him to do than me. And I'm trying to do do other things, getting ready for the season tomorrow.
Is it hard not to take personal sometimes? Because remember, Brian Burke, his thing was, you tell me one time you don't want to be here, you'll never play again, I'm getting you the hell out of here. That sort of thing. I don't think you can have that anymore, but it's got to be tough not to take it personal when you're talking with someone who you feel like you have a good relationship with. Let's get something done. I'm not sure what the hell's what's wrong with us. What's wrong? What the hell? Like it at some point it still feels kind of personal, doesn't it?
Maybe a little bit. I think the day that I felt the most personal was in the summer or after the season during the playoffs when, you know, all the reports came out that no one wanted to be here. I
remember that.
What the heck is going on? You know, my wife's calling and she's like, I'm like, I got to get on Twitter and see. And I thought, geez, you know, I just talked to the guys and even backs. I mean, it wasn't a hard no for anybody. Yeah. It's just, where is it going? They have lots of questions. And my thing was, hey, if Bax resigns, does that get the ball rolling? You know, and even when we were at the, you know, we're in for the draft and we went to the awards. I mean, just having Bax, Frieda, and his dad there at like during the day, they came down. The scouts are all there. We had a big lunch. He sat there for about 2 hours, and I'm thinking in my mind, why would Bax want to leave?
This doesn't seem like
no. And then him and I, we sat and talked for 45 minutes, and it was good. I mean, it was just he's just like. Wasn't sure, you know, had a tough couple years, had played really well, but he said it was a challenge, Connie. Like I said, okay. I said, I get it. I go take some time off and let's regroup and let's not make any rash decisions. And then this year when he came back, I said, how you feeling? And he said, you know what? I want to be here. So that's what you're kind of hoping for with each guy. I mean, I know each guy's different situation and their family situation, but with Bax, he just said, no, I want to be here and let's get moving. So that was a nice one. And we're working through the other guys and it's just slower than we would like. That's all.
It seems like the one consensus thing, no matter who you talk about, is that spirits are great right now and no one's lost. Everyone jokes about spring training is the best baseball because every team's happy. Nobody's lost a game that matters. And it's the same sort of vibe. But I mean, you go back to that Friday in June and it was like, nobody wants to be here. And all of a sudden it's like, well, seems a lot more positivity, a lot more openness to the idea of being career Flames for some of these guys.
Exactly. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's the difference between, hey, and like when I say have fun and it's a place to come and have fun and enjoy yourself. Also this is professional sports. We're here to work and win.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the translation, sometimes people are like, oh, you're just going to have a big party. No. We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to have life. We want to have fun and pick our spots. When there's time to do things that are fun and on the ice, we can joke around and have fun, but it's also a place of work, and we have to be ready to go because, I got high expectations for the team, and I hope they have high expectations. I was very disappointed with the way things went last year. I thought we were going to be better. It didn't work out. And, the start of the season here is really going to tell us a lot.
Yeah. You got a big road trip right out of the gate. The roster is finalized. You do make a waiver claim in AJ Greer.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at your lineup, what do you see? How confident in that group are you? And tell us about the latest addition to it.
Well, I think AJ, the one thing, we were looking for, talking to Ryan, what do we need? What are we lacking a little of? He says, well, obviously with Luch being gone, and it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like, AJ, he's a willing guy, competitive, stick up for his team, big, he's 6'3", 210, he can skate, and he brings that energy, but he's also going to, he has some sandpaper, and he will stick up for his teammates. I think that's the one thing when you don't have that, it's nice to have some, just to know someone's got your back. I saw Coronado get hit the other night in Vancouver, and I thought, you don't love that, but it is what it is. But you would like to have a little bit more toughness around and sandpaper. And I think, that's what Greer brings.
Yeah.
So that was something nice. We were able to get off waivers, and we're excited about having them.
The lineup as a whole, just the feel right now when you look at that, you're like, okay, these are my guys.
Yeah, these are my guys. Yeah. I mean, obviously with Matt Coronado coming in, playing as well as he did, Savvy's going to, he loves him on the power play, loves that he's a right shot.
Mm-hmm.
He says that's the one thing. He can shoot the puck, right shot. We always need right shot guys is
forever.
Coaches always want right shot guys.
Yeah.
So it works out good for us. And, you just see it's not all just the goals and the points, but winning puck battles, out competing, he took a couple big hits, but he bounces right back up. He's a thick frame, not a huge guy, but it was definitely, it was exciting giving him the jersey yesterday, even though Savvy wrote the number down in practice, 27. I'm like, really, Savvy?
Yeah.
So I said, Matt, you already know. He's like, I kind of know, but I'm still excited.
Yeah.
So he had the jersey.
Yeah. That, of course, he makes the number change from his training cat number 39. That was, had he made that request, or how does a young kid go about, can I get that? I'd like that number if it's available.
You kind of, the thing was, because he was 19 at Harvard, he was 27. And I think just downstairs, he was talking to the trainers and they said, what is your number? Like, what would be your number? And he said, if I had a dream number, it'd be 27. Like that would be, so that's how I kind of got the information early. I'm like, has he ever mentioned? He goes, oh yeah. He mentioned out of the numbers that are available, 27 is kind of the one he would love to be.
Every kid wants 44.
Yes. Well,
most start with 44.
We don't let people wear 44.
I was going to say it feels
Chris Butler.
just out of respect. You kind of have that one.
Yeah, you don't want to
34, 44. We keep them hidden.
That's right. Yeah. Did you ever come close to contemplating keeping 3 goalies and telling Dustin Wolf? What's that conversation with him?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could tell he was disappointed, which he should be. You know what?
Sure.
He's done everything he can. The one thing I said, I still don't want you not to play games. As young as you are, we need you to play as much as you can. And he loves playing games. He's like, you're right. I've only backed up my first year in Everett. And other than that, I've played a ton of games. Yeah. So I would rather play games. But to have 3 goalies, we did it one time. And I don't feel comfortable with it. It's just, there's too much. They're kind of battling for the net. It's a weird thing. We would remember Oni Ordio would come out after,
Ordio for sure.
And he would come out after and sit on the bench, and then it didn't flow for me, and it didn't make sense. And I think just, especially with having the team here in Calgary, it just, he's done a great job. And everybody wants to see him, the whole city. I mean, probably when I walk around the city, what are you doing with Wolf?
Yeah.
I totally get it, but I also need to make sure kind of he continues to play and he's going to be here. I mean, he's put himself in a great spot and he deserves it, but we also feel very comfortable with the other 2 goalies. So, it's a battle, and, I have to do what's right, I think, for the team. And right now it's to go in this direction.
Didn't Bob Hartley say it was like having a drink machine out on the ice during practice?
Just getting in the way
some
all the time.
big thing standing off to the side, getting in the road all the time.
Oh, it was, he said, he told me, I mean, we would have meet. He goes, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not, the goalies don't like it. Nobody likes it. The team, it's just awkward. So I said, you know what? I always remembered Bob saying that. So I said, we just can't do it.
We got about 5 more minutes. Craig is on a tight one today.
Real quick, we've seen maybe no one bounce around more in whatever you make of preseason lines than Igor Sharangovich, who you did get from Jersey. Having seen him more, where do you see him best fitting in this lineup, and sort of what being around him? What more do you know about the player? How would you describe him to fans that are going to watch him play tomorrow, his first game in Flame Silks?
Yeah, good skater, really smart. Sound defensively. You almost want him to take a little bit of more chance offensively, but he's always on the right side of the puck. He's always trying to make the right play, good stick position. He's got nice skill. He's got a really good shot. Want to see him shoot a little bit more. Really good penalty killer. That was the one thing, even before coming in, we said he can kill penalties. So you're going to see him doing that. And overall, he's a little quiet. We interact, but it's definitely, he's a quieter guy. And, from my point of view, I just like to see him, those one-on-one battles, win a few more of them, and then shoot the puck a little bit more.
From a GM standpoint, I'm wondering, just could you talk about the lineup? Do you now, it's opening night, Ryan Huska and crew, here's your team. I'm the GM. I'll be upstairs. Or are you collaborative? Are you downstairs? How are you going to mix with the team? Because everybody loves Connie. Everybody wants you around. How much influence are you going to have on the every night lineup? Or it's kind of like a parent. It's like, no, I'm just going to see how they do. Let's see what we've got here and test the waters. I'm curious because you're a passionate guy and you're going to want to be in there with everything, but it's a little different now.
I've watched it, both things, I talked to like Brian Burke, he said, Connie, what you have to do, like Brad definitely liked to be down there, part of the lineup a lot. Like he had, that was his thing, and I said, and then Brian Burke was, no, you hired the coach, you let him do the job. You don't get down there as much. So there's two different ways to look at it. I think I'm kind of I got to let Ryan be the coach, pick the lineup and be the coach. I'll give him the players and then let him kind of do it. But you know what? The one good thing is Ryan's like, what are you seeing from above? Do you see, what are you guys seeing? So he asks questions and he takes all the information, but I'm going to let him pick the lineup, pick who's playing with who. And, I think that's why you have a coach. I picked him for a reason. Now I got to let him do his job. And, up above, I might be, I don't know about that, but we'll see, see how he does. And I thought Bob Hartley did a great job when he was here. He had a good pulse. He's down there more often than me, and he knows what's going on, and he knows who the players want to play with. I mean, and who has the chemistry. So yeah, I say that right now. I'm going to let him do all that, but I'm going to, it's good because we collaborate. He talks, what are you seeing? He's open, go down after the game and who'd you like? Who didn't you like from above? And it's interesting because sometimes they like on the ice somebody and I'm like, oh, I didn't think he was as good, but maybe I have to watch some of his shifts to see.
It feels like it's a collaborative group.
It is. You know what? They're open. And I think having Savvy down there, he brings real life to the bench. I've heard the guys, they're enjoying having Savvy down there. So, it's just like a player. Some of the chirps I've heard him see, I'm like, oh, he still thinks, he's quick-witted. And I think that's good. It's kind of loosens the bench up a little bit.
How much are we going to see Jerome around here this year, and how's the collaboration with him?
I was just going to ask. It's probably the number one question I get is what's
after Wolf,
Greg and Iggy? How's that? Where?
He's what like the one thing this year he's coaching.
Yeah.
So he's got Joe, but I literally text him, talk to him all the time. He's watching games. He's he's got ideas on everything. Is there something here? Can you call this team? What about this team?
Mm-hmm.
He's very, even though he's not sitting here every day, he's watching, and I said, hey, do you mind? And then I said, as players come through in the Western Hockey League, would you mind go watch this game and watch these 3 or 4 players? Okay. Our guys from Vancouver are coming through. Would you mind taking for a coffee? Talk to him. I mean, the one thing about Jerome, even when he talks to the players, whether it be Hanzig, he's like, hey, you know what? You're shooting it so hard. It's almost like you got to let the goalie get set. Just take an extra second because they'll move and there'll be a little bit of room, little things like that. You have a guy that scored 600 goals in the league. You see the kids looking at him like, oh, okay, I'll try that. Instead of just trying to get it off as fast and hard. He goes, you're almost not giving the goalie time to get out of the way a little bit.
Yeah.
So little things like that. So he's always talking to guys. He really enjoys Klapka too. He's always down there. He likes the size, likes what he sees. And, you know, and even from the summer development camp, I mean, he was right here to the end, and you're going to see at some point him getting an opportunity.
Well, you can keep watching this one because Retro, he's not here right now, but tons of advice, lots of great ideas. Retro, and never more than a text or a phone call away.
You know what? My wife's agreeing with you guys a lot. I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble.
Hey, Retro, any advice for the new GM?
No, I don't think that.
Not yet.
Well, you're talking about salary cap stuff, and my eyes glazed over. I got bored.
The baby monkey.
Hey, it's not the most exciting thing for me either.
I wanted to know what you made for Thanksgiving dinner, if you had it catered or what. I mean, these are the important things.
Oh, I had a lot of food. Peter came over. Peter Hanlon, Don, Savvy.
Did he?
I thought anybody who didn't had way too much food though. I was in a food coma after it. I was.
Did he ruin your Thanksgiving? He ruined my Christmas. Hanlon one year.
No, he was great. Little wine, little turkey. He left early though. He went home. He's like, I got a lot of work to do, Craig. I
he didn't leave early at Christmas. He started pouring shots. It was terrible.
No shots.
Ruined his Christmas one year.
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff.
4 months and 17 days. That's on the job. Does it feel like that?
No, it feels like now that the season's here, now it feels real. You know, it really does. And I think there's still lots of work for me to do.
Are you going to go? Well, you got to go. So we'll talk to you again about this stuff. But you'll be with the team all the time. You plan on traveling all over, or what do you?
To start, I think I told Ryan I'm going to come the early road trips and kind of see. But I think it also I think the team can, you know, like you said, I like to be around, but you can be around too much as the GM too. So I think, you know, I still love to go watch all the young prospects and scout and see some things. I think they need sometimes the team needs a mental break. The coaches probably will need a break from me. And
you had said to me, I don't know, I forget where it was, that's still very important for you to see that next crop of draft eligible guys. That's kind of in your blood.
Yeah. You want to be comfortable. You want to know. I mean, I read the reports. It's nice to read the reports and then go to the game and say, oh, I actually totally agree with them, or I don't see it. Why? And then at least when we have all those meetings, I can just challenge the guys, you know, and they'll say, Craig, you only saw him 3 times. Watch him again. Watch, you know, they might say, watch this game. If you haven't seen it, watch this game. And that's great because now we have Instat and all this stuff that we use so I can just go watch the shifts. Oh yeah, I see what he says. Yeah, I missed that. I didn't see that in the game I had, but you don't know if guys are hurt or whatever. I'm just waiting to, draft another Warner. That's what I'm.
So wings,
size.
Yeah. Well, there's a big right-handed D-man if you want him. He's big and dumb and likes to drink. So it's kind of
sounds familiar.
Don't know where it comes from.
Hey, you had me at big and right-handed defenseman. Like, okay, good. Let's go.
All right, wings next Wednesday, and then you'll get me tickets for the game, right?
Sounds good. Let's do it, Retro.
Can't wait.
Can't wait to see you.
Can't wait.
Oh boy,
Craig, thanks for coming by, man. Everybody's excited. I think how would you kind of describe? I think there's a nervous, excited energy.
Cautiously optimistic.
Everyone wants to really be excited, but they don't know if they
We've
can
been hurt
be
before.
yet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. You know, I saw the team last year. I'm there. You're excited, but you want to see it when the real games start. Tomorrow is going to be a great thing. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, would I say I'm always a positive person, but there is that. Let's just see how it goes. But I'm optimistic.
Yeah,
I'm optimistic for sure.
Good luck to you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait to come back again.
Nice. We'll do it again soon.
I'm going to wait till we get on like a 5-game win streak.
Yeah, time it.
Yeah, that's just time
for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing Jesse's name into the mix, Retro. She was excited to hear her name.
We'll get her a hoodie or something.
Hey,
have a barn burner hoodie.
You want to know who wears your barn burner? My daughter, the youngest one. I'm like, seriously, what are you just like? She loves every picture at school. I'm like, really? A barn burner again? I'm like, do you wear anything other than the barn burner hoodie to school? She's like, Dad, it's just so comfortable. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're just helping. So if you're ever in Ontario, see barn burner, probably it's my daughter.
Details on how to get yours coming up.
You have to get one.
Yeah.
They're great.
Nationgear.ca.
There you go. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, guys.
You bet.
Thanks.
We'll break. Be right back.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.